Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. This is my initial thoughts video for command model Laika. If you clicked on this video, you would have saw my cringy thumbnail. I like these puns, just not her. Let me clarify that a bit. I mean, she's likable as a character. The design, before she was even released, everybody wanted her. We also wanted Breenus. And I'm glad to see her. I saw her animation. I'm like, oh, okay, this is fantastic. My eyes lit up when I was watching the live reveal. But unfortunately, her kid is not that great, and that's what I meant. So, like, that's why I didn't really like her. And it's not that she's bad, but she's not good enough to be good now. So at the moment, if you guys are watching me on YouTube, I recently posted a video. It's like a 45-minute video, which is like a live stream VOD, discussing with many members of the community on just like the current state of the game. And honestly, if you watch that video and you know me, like you come to my Twitch streams and stuff like that, you know I don't hold a really like angry stance against like the meta, the power creep and all that stuff. It is something that I'm just like, I'm playing the game, I love the game, the devs are really nice. It's inevitable for games to have power creep, but there is one point that I mentioned in that video. It's just like, the issue is that, as the game keeps progressing, with the EEs, with multiple balance patches, everybody's expectations get higher and higher, right? So when there's a new hero, whether it's a PvP hero or a PvE hero, you're still gonna suffer the issues like, well, does she do something better than this other hero, right? So you're really always comparing. And if usually, like, as a human being, usually when something is worse than what you already have or what you already have access to, there's no reason to spend any resource on it, right? But command model Laika kind of fits in that kind of scenario. She'll do certain things well, but just not fully well enough to do it better than someone else who can possibly do the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully I make sense. But basically, if you're watching this and you're on the same thought process, that is the background to why I made that pun. The Laika part is just like, you can make anything Laika, right? But then again, this is my thoughts video. So I mean, unfortunately, I have to say, like, in summary right now, too long didn't watch that. She's not that great, especially for PvP. Now if you are into PvP in the game, she's not going to be for you. If you're going to be for collecting purposes, or you like her design, and then I think there's something here for you, right? So in terms of like design wise, I think she's really pretty, very cool as well, especially when she changed into the command model Laika. And unlike at the beginning of the was it now episode 3, at the beginning of episode 3, where you saw, like, I think it was like this form, right? Like, this was already kind of cute, right? But you didn't really, like, at the beginning of the story, you didn't know like her part with Breenus, with Kana and stuff. And then Kana's a PvE hero, really, and she's connection hero too. And so it's unfortunate to see that Laika, and then later to become command model Laika, ends up being a PvE hero too. I have to say, a bit disappointed. You guys can say what you want. I think she's really pretty. I'm not a lolly. Is it called lolicon? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know anything about that. But the S3 animations, like, it's clear that Smilegate liked her design as well. So in some of the preview videos for heroes, they don't show everything. You know what I mean? Like, they don't show all the like this what you're seeing on screen here, like the draft version, the storyboarded version of like the S3 animations. They don't show you the concept art, not for everyone. So like key heroes like Operator Sigra and stuff like that, you'll see more. Usually they are like, in the video with a Korean voiceover. They are like filling you in on the lore, the background, the character and stuff like that before you get to the character introduction in terms of the skill sets and the stats. So they do need stuff, but it's not every hero that gets it, and especially not that much. So for the Laika one, these two screenshots are like basically the S3 animation played, but in the full draft view, with some post effects, so glows and particles and stuff like that. But it's really cool. I mean, it's really cool to see. So I nerd out on stuff like that. And even I think this illustration of Laika is not the finessed illustration or the drawing that we get in game. So you can see if you actually look closely. I don't know if my video quality will pick up on the quality, but if you look really closely, this is high fidelity concept art, but it's not like published level kind of fidelity concept art. There's still a bit of like rougher lines on the outside. This wasn't digitally traced. They were probably digitally colored to some extent, like Photoshop and stuff, like really quick. But you can see like some of the ink lines still done, either digitally or even hand drawn on this image specifically. So it's really cool that they, you know, dig this stuff up, even for the lore, not just take a random screenshot. Now this is like some of the concept art. Again, you see like her without the arms and stuff, like typical concept art style. You need all your angles, profile view, 3/4 angles and stuff like that. So this is very, very cool stuff. When they show the video, as I'm showing it, it is in sequence, okay? So, you know, as they're presenting this stuff, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, what is she gonna be? Like, what is she gonna counter this time, right? So you think about PvP, right? It's unfortunate that, again, eventually it showed to be PvE. At least they even marketed it as PvE. Maybe someone will try it PvP. I mean, you can technically take any character into PvP, but in terms of the meta right now, what we had to deal with, again, if you had watched that video that I talked about, we talked about balancing and the current state of the game and stuff like that, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's get to it, because, you know, I don't want to bias this. Just because it's not a PvP hero doesn't mean it's crappy. Now we already settled that she'll probably not be that good in PvP. She's a PvE hero. So what do we have? We have a Ranger, we have a Gemini. So every single one of these android babes have been Rangers. This is a Gemini, so it's the same star sign as Seaside Bologna and Athletica. So 114 speed, not super slow. You got decent defense, but very, very low HP in terms of the oh, actually, you know what, even for a Ranger, this is low HP, low defense. I should say that. Attack is decent, but doesn't look like she's going to be serving as a primary attacker, that kind of role. Effectiveness is at 18, but 15% crit rate, so that's going to be tough if you're going to make her as an attacker. 150 crit damage, no boost there. Imprint concentration as 27% as usual for imprint, self-imprint. And she'll probably eventually want that, I guess. I mean, but again, not limited, not a PvP hero, not a must-have, so you will most likely not be getting too many imprints unless you get lucky or unlucky, however you want to call it. So S3, skill 3, volley fire. So shoots out all wings to all enemies. So it's an AoE attack with a 75% chance to speed down, decrease speed for 2 turns, and a 50% chance to put them to sleep for 1 turn. And then before granting immunity to all allies for 2 turns. Now, if you can see the Mola distribution here, if you skill enhance to +4, you have 100% chance to decrease speed for 2 turns, and then up to a 75% chance to put them to sleep. So 75% chance to put them to sleep is lower than something like Sage Baal's sleep, and if you count sleep as somewhat like a stun, then it's similar to Ambitious Tywin, right? But you have 100% speed down for 2 turns before granting immunity to all allies for 2 turns. So realistically, on paper, it's a really decent skill. It's just you know, it's not like a death break. So she's not built for aggro comps. So I don't foresee her being used for one shots, stuff like that, or even arena clearing. I would consider arena clearing PvP, but also sort of PvE, since you could plan around it, but definitely not RTA level, I think. Yeah, so you got a 75% chance to sleep, not such a great proc rate there. And then you have a resist check on top of that. So realistically, you're looking about what, like 60% chance to put one target to sleep, and then you have that 100% speed down. So the speed down to sleep, I think it does affect KDs in terms of their showcase is fighting against KDs. I do believe, I'm not quite sure, they didn't sleep. Those minions didn't sleep. But if they do sleep, that would be good, right? Because no drawing dual attack from the boss. But it didn't proc here, so I'm not 100% sure. But this screenshot was taken for another thing. for mainly the skill 2. So let's talk about that. So strike order selects an enemy with a 75% chance to target for 2 turns. So the target debuff that will increase hit chance by 15%, increase 15% more damage if you land the debuff. 2 turns. Increase attack of all allies except the caster with the highest attack for 2 turns. This will be so this seems promising. So it's not a damaging skill, but again, if you bring this into PvP, risky for like Politis, Celine, that kind of stuff. Unless you're baiting Celine's, right? But again, not really PvP, so let's not theory craft that too long. But then it reads that highest attack for 2 turns, and then it decreases the skill cooldown by 1 turn before triggering a dual attack. So the cooldown does happen before. I don't know if that will be useful unless it's to mention for a hero who also reduces cooldown with a dual attack or an S1. But other than that, if you +3 or max enhance, it is 100% chance to land the target debuff. This screenshot was to clarify the reading of this. I wasn't 100% sure myself if the decreasing skill cooldown meant the Laika, which I highly doubted anyway, but I just wanted to double check. And here is the example. So we have Assyria on top. Actually, if you see on the left side of the screenshot there, Assyria on top as the defense breaker. Laika here does the S2 target debuff 2 turns. It does land. It draws Violet as a dual attacker. Violet does have his perception buff up, and he has an attack buff, of course, and you see that one turn decrease. So of course the 1 turn decrease is good for Violet, especially in KDs, which is why like maybe I'm not thinking outside the box, but 100% like the way that they featured her in KDs and way that it's running with the exact same team, the decreased 1 turn is really good for Violet, since you do need a non-attack skill to reset the danger level. So it removes the amount that they will target Violet. But in this case, it's kind of weird too, right? Because realistically, you want them to target Violet, so Violet builds a focus and then also hopefully, quote unquote, hopefully evade. And then he does more damage and attack buffed up with Moonlight Dreamblade. So this is a bit kind of weird, right? But it's fine. It's fine. I guess it's okay. So like realistically, again, like I said, well, actually no, it doesn't matter. If it's danger level, the minions are attacking him, so he's countering into them and not KD's. So never mind. All that rambling for no reason. This is the better outcome. But again, it goes to show that it's almost so curated for this comp. I would definitely be interested to see people use her, even in one-shot comps. Even if she works in any one-shot comp and she can do it better or equal to something that already exists, I'm sold on maybe trying to pull like 10-20 summons for her, just because again, I like her character design. But outside of that, I don't see her being used. Again, she doesn't really seem to have sort of an aggro play outside of the target debuff with a dual attack from the highest attacker. Maybe paired with something like Singelica for, if not for a one-shot hunt, maybe for some kind of quick kill on the future advent side stories. Okay, so future advent side stories, maybe I don't know. That S2 might be useful. I definitely think that S2 on her kit is my favorite. And let's just be clear again, nothing here is bad. Like if we rewind time, maybe let's say a year and a half ago, I wouldn't say her kit is absolutely that bad. It's just that there's just so many other characters that kind of top her. That's the unfortunate part. So the S1 is supporting fire, attacks the enemy, increasing combat radius of the caster and a random ally, except for the caster by 10%. If you +4 is 15% total. So that's very similar to ML Cowrick, and we all know how oppressive that is. But again, not for PvP, so her oppression is not as scary as ML Cowrick. And ML Cowrick's full kit now with the buff is a lot, just really insane. I mean, he's super meta right now. So unfortunately, I skipped him. But that's a side story. And this is a part of Laika's artifact art. I pulled this screenshot because I like the close-up there. So this is it, and she definitely does look like she has like thicker thighs in the artifact as compared to like something like this, you know? I mean, this doesn't really, I guess, doesn't really show her thighs fully, but it does feel, yeah, she does feel a bit thicker here. compared to here, and I don't think low angle is the issue. I don't know if that would affect it that much, but just something to note. All right. Some of you guys are watching for like my artistic take on stuff, so just giving you those little sprinkles, those little nuggets, right? Since if you know Laika her, you may Laika my. Okay, never mind. I'm just not. So Glow Wings 21, supportive artifact, and I definitely think like if you're comparing like the PvE Rangers, the Robo Babes, then I think Canna's is a better pairing. The Misha, the missile artifact, is I feel is much better, and in fact I wish I had more in terms of I can max limit break. This one's more supportery in terms of like sustain, so even if you don't use it on her and you use it into, let's say, like Assyria, or people are saying Flan, I don't think that's necessary, to be honest. If you're going Flan, you're going really aggro anyway. But if you're using a non-attack skill, grants a barrier up to, if we look at the max version, up to a 20% of the caster's max health, and to all allies with 2 turns. The effect can only be activated once every 3 turns and can only apply to 1 hero within a team. So this is yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this at all, really. In terms of like what the last line meant is like it's you can only basically have 1 ranger use this, and yeah, so it's really 1 buffer. So I was thinking about this on like something like Green Assyria. So Green Assyria has like 6k HP, so very high base. Some people can build like easy like 20,000 HP, but 14,000 to 16,000 range, even with decent speed, high effectiveness, for PvE or something, the Assyria could be very, very useful. So I'm thinking like this could be good on Assyria if not used for Laika, because more often than not you'll probably most likely use Assyria over Laika in the majority of, let's say, end game PvE content. So like Abyss, what is it called? Expos. Those kind of PvE content, I feel like Assyria is stronger because you have access. If you have access to Song of Stars, you have 100% chance to target debuff anyway. So realistically, it's the same thing, and you can reset someone fully instead of 1 turn cooldown, and then you can defense break with Assyria, and she has higher base HP. So if you're using this on her, that might be better. But again, you won't have Song of Stars, I guess, in that case. So in terms of the full banner, I think it's safe to say that if you're waiting for potential limited heroes coming, which is it is rumored, and based on the timelines, probably a new limited hero coming around January, or maybe at the beginning of February. But usually dropping around February, we get the returns of like DN and stuff like that, and I think Cerise will be coming back this time too. So just keep that in mind. I personally think that, again, if you like her collector, maybe toss a bit. Definitely not as much as a pity. It's really salty, I think, to get the artifact at the moment. It might be her best in slot if you run her in KDs, if you need a KDs team. But outside of that, not that great. The last thing, of course, is the lobby animation. She's like, she has this piece of paper on, and she's like blowing on it, like blowing it up, and the paper like falls on her head, and she lifts up. She's just like, she's really, really pretty, really sexy. You know, I wish she was like, I don't know, man. How would I put this? I think if she was usable for PvP, but not even for like RTA drafting, just like an offensive PvP or something, I think I would pull for her, actually. And if the artifact was slightly cooler, I guess. That would be my take on it. But anyways, I'll keep that short there. As I'm making this, it is Christmas time, so if you are watching this on Christmas, Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys in the new year. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.